few words in the English language trigger the immediate, visceral fear attached to the label cult. For decades, television news and pop culture have conditioned us to associate that four-letter word almost entirely with hidden compounds, mass suicides, and dangerous brainwashing. If a fringe religious group gets hit with that label, they face an immediate existential crisis. Society presumes them guilty before they can even state their case. To survive that kind of stigmatization, a marginalized movement has only two real options: run from the word completely or actively campaign to rewrite its definition. The congregation of Lord RayEl, a highly controversial modern religious movement, chose to fight back. Instead of dodging the label, they published a deliberate, highly structured manifesto called the RayEl Doctrine, confronting the accusation directly. The document functions as a public relations strategy designed to legitimize the movement's standing. By analyzing the doctrine, we can see how they attempt to strip away the behavioral stigma of the word cult to present themselves as a modern, fact-based belief system. The first phase of the group's strategy bypasses media criticism by appealing to academic authority. Looking directly at this dictionary entry cited in their manifesto, we see the baseline sociological definition of a cult. Notice the specific academic phrasing: a system of religious worship and a sacred ideology. There's no mention of coercion or dangerous behavior here. Next, the text acknowledges the traditional stereotype, outlining the behavioral patterns of a destructive group. It highlights psychological control mechanisms, targeting weak-minded individuals and enforcing isolation. It then maps information control, demanding blind faith, refusing proof, and strict news blackouts. The third phase of the group strategy involves an inverted behavioral model that explicitly contradicts the earlier checklist. First, they address mindset, claiming an explicit rejection of weak-minded individuals and instead demanding critical thinkers. Second, they tackle evidence. The doctrine states they refuse blind faith, promising to always provide proof and demanding their followers verify those facts. Third, on information control, they mandate that members actively watch global news and thoroughly discuss their teachings with strangers. The doctrine even sets specific rules for members relocating to their physical centers. As we look across their hub in Baja, Mexico, their texts insist followers maintain constant internet and video contact with loved ones back home. The same rule applies to their operational presence in Israel, seen here over the Jerusalem skyline. Even in these highly charged physical locations, strict isolation is forbidden by their own doctrine. By building an inverted blueprint, the congregation makes itself appear completely transparent, stripping away the traditional psychological control tactics associated with dangerous groups. The text positions critics as irrational by framing the congregation's practices as intellectually superior. This creates a paradox. If a critic attacks a group that explicitly demands secular research and family contact, that critic suddenly looks like the one trying to suppress free thought. The ultimate effect shifts the burden of proof away from the congregation and onto the media, offering the group as a transparent alternative to mainstream belief systems. Operating an organization under a model of complete physical and informational isolation is nearly impossible to maintain in the modern era. Controversial movements are adapting with a digital age rebrand. They're learning to use the language of transparency, constant connectivity, and empirical proof as a powerful defensive shield.